There's no format.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sure you already know this.
I'm fine with that too.
Yeah. even ke Ketua FM pun tidak.
No, at least we have a little bit of structure lah. That's on my side. I always like a little bit of structure. But if I'm called to do casual interviews and chats macam begini pun saya okay juga.
Awesome.
There are times when we had guests yang macam, bolehkah kita just santai-santai saja, tidak mau ada question. Okay, fine. It makes my job easy. So it's cool. I think one of the things that you have to be as a broadcaster is to be flexible.
I agree.
So, if you have too much structure pun tidak bagus juga.
Yeah.
It becomes very constricted. It becomes very rigid. So, and you don't want that. At the end of the day, you want the audience to be delighted by the content that you present. So, itulah. Most importantly is to be just agile, flexible. Yang paling penting ialah your audience, they are happy ke tidak. So, itulah.
Speaking from an experience lah.
7 years, man. 7 years.
7 years in broadcasting.
Oh gosh.
So anyway, this is morning lah, right? Morning. And are you a morning person?
Gosh. I like my sleeps. I'll be very honest with you. During my 20s, right, when I was in the States, I worked in the hospitality line.
Right.
We dedicate like at least 14, 15 hours a day just to... I mean, that's the demand of the industry. Any hoteliers, siapa-siapa yang pernah kerja di hotel kah, di sektor perkhidmatan, they know this. It's 8 hours is like, no, macam tidak cukup syarat. I was in an environment where productivity matters. And I'm okay with it. These days, orang selalu cakap macam, kerja 8 hours and that's it. And then lepas 8 hours mesti apa overtime lah, itulah ilah. At a very young age, I'm exposed to management. So as a manager, you cannot think about overtime. You cannot think about all these little things. You're thinking about how can we make the department productive? How can we make sure that we are able to deliver? So see, morning person tip minum kopi pun tip dapat bercakap. And here I am trying to talk about public speaking later on. But to answer your question, am I a morning person? Once upon a time, I was. I was a morning person. I enjoy... Oh, this sounds weird. I enjoy waiting for the alarm to go off. And it'll be like, yay, come, let's start the day. Let's go and finish our routine and all of that stuff. And I also look forward to 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock when you're done. And it's like, okay, apa mau buat?
Like morning?
No, not morning, in the evening.
Okay,
You're done with your work. You're
Right.
done with whatever that you are supposed to do with the day. Terus kau rasa yang macam, pukul 4 petang sudah, pukul 5 sudah. Apa mau buat? Then terus rasa macam, okay lah, tiada apa-apa, terus mau tidur awal supaya cukup tidur untuk bangun untuk hari seterusnya. Macam begitu.
So that mindset, wait, at what age is that?
That was in my 20s. Yeah, that was in my 20s.
You must be enjoying life if you have that mindset.
Tidak juga like enjoy can be very subjective, right?
I agree.
But most importantly is whatever goals that you have in life, right? It's like, are you there? Are you aligned? Are you on your way to reaching your goals? I think that's most important as a youth. And this I kasih tahu lah sama semua belia-belia di luar sana. It's fine to live your life in your 20s to have fun because you have nothing to lose, right? Tapi yang paling penting ialah you have to be proactive in life too. You have to think ahead. Sometimes macam contoh lah kan, a lot of our youth, we don't really care about our health in our 20s. Most we don't care about insurance. We don't care about sakit belakang and all of that stuff. And I noticed that a lot of my friends right now who are in their late 30s and also in their 40s kan, yang macam, masa saya dulu 20-an kan, I wish I did this, I wish I did that. Ada tu sedikit penyesalan, Yeah. So as we thread with life, especially when you're in your 20s, by all means, go ahead, enjoy. I used to be 20 once upon a time, and I love life. Yes. And I enjoy life because kita ada hala tuju ba. Kita tidak boleh just macam, let's go with the flow, Say go with the flow only when you have plans. Bila kita ada kita punya hala tuju, bila kita cakap, okay, ini yang saya mau capai dalam saya punya kehidupan, and then we work our way backwards. Like, what can we do now so that we're able to achieve whatever that we want? Dalam masa 5 tahun kah, 10 tahun kah, 15 tahun. We have to be proactive in some way, in some shape or form. We have to be proactive. Kalau kita tidak proaktif kan, macam kehidupan kita bangun sejaklah. Tiada guna kita akan bincang pasal kita morning person kah, afternoon person kah, late afternoon person kah, tapi kita tiada hala tuju. So once kita ada tu hala tuju kan, then we are able to say, okay, you have your, in English we say, our ducks in a row. Kita sudah susun apa benda-benda yang kita mau dalam kehidupan kita supaya nanti in the future kita dapat capai apa yang kita mau. So, but we don't want life to be rigid as well, Stef. You know, you have to have that fun element. I'm 44. I enjoy being a 44-year-old person, and some people say that I don't look my age lah. Apalah, it's because I enjoy what I do. I am a freelancer. I enjoy this freelancing world, which I think a lot of youths enjoy. People like yourself, we don't like that 9 to 5, notion or that job or that anything. And I think a lot of Gen Zs value having that time to themselves. But that's also another skill that we have to learn. You know, time management, how to prioritize kita punya masa. That's another topic for a different day. But I love life. I really, really do. And I think in this satu kehidupan saja yang kita ada kan, what can you make of it? And with that experience, how are you able to contribute back? To be of service to people, to be of service to, tidak kisahlah, the nation kah, the state kah, community kah, apa, like Mr. Kamatan, like as you were the champion several years ago, and in pageant, it's a great platform to be. At the end of the day is macam mana kita menggunakan ni platform untuk kita memberikan perkhidmatan kepada orang lain. Bukan perkhidmatan like services that you pay, no, but because of the experiences that we have, how are we able to contribute back and to give back to society? Macam begitu ba? So agree. Yeah, wow, we are jumbling from different topics. And
I don't think that's a problem. Does that mean that now that you are 44, you achieve what your goal was when you were 20s?
In life kan, kita tidak boleh comfortable bila kita sudah capai umur 40 ke 50 tahun, terus kita comfortable and cakap, saya tidak mau belajar lagi. We cannot be like that. Life is, learning should be a lifelong process, you know. And look at saya tidak mau, sorry ya kalau ada orang boycott KFC ke apa-apa, but look at Colonel Sanders, who opened a business when he was close to his 70s, you know. And was age a deterrent? Never. It was never a deterrent. So to me, yang macam we have to have this spirit where we are always curious. I can imagine now with kita punya dunia yang sangat penuh dengan teknologi, that there are people who are in their 60s and 70s right now, sitting and learning, having a laptop, having a phone even.
Agreed.
You know, and they're if you're curious about the world, you will have that spirit of wanting to learn and wanting to excel and wanting to be better, and also to be agile. You know, kita tidak boleh set yang macam, saya sudah ada degree, saya sudah diploma, saya sudah SPM, cukuplah itu. Saya boleh hidup dengan aman dan sempurna macam begitu, cukup saja. So that's the problem that a lot of Sabahans have, is that we think that we have enough, but sebenarnya tidak. Memang kita tidak ada cukup, you know. And biarlah cukup tu bukan dalam bentuk materialistik, tetapi dalam bentuk ilmu. Saya rasa kalau kita mau jadi maju, kalau kita mau jadi maju dan jaya, it's not just about infrastructure, but it's about our mindset. It's about how are we able to think differently, how are we able to change whatever realities that we have right now, and that begins from the mind, you know.
I agree.
So kena duduk peka dengan tahap ilmu yang kita ada, dan kita tidak boleh comfortable, kita tidak boleh leka, kita tidak boleh selesa dengan ilmu yang sedia ada di dada ataupun di minda. Kita mesti sentiasa, macam orang cakap, mesti kejar curiosity kita. Kita selalu ingin tanya. Remember during the Renaissance period, when people appreciate art and knowledge and anything that has to do with the mind, and people are always asking questions, semangat inquiry. We go back to that tingkatan 4 punya sejarah, okay? Right. When you buka that chapter Renaissance, and that's one of the things that I learned in my history lessons, is that satu ketika dulu manusia memang kuat bertanya, and because kita kuat bertanya, kita tahu sesuatu yang baru. And that's when we realize that the more we know, the more we don't know, and we have that curiosity to find out what we don't know, and it uncovers and unlock this vast amount of information that we don't even know exist. And then kita yang macam, wow, there's more to life.
Yeah.
So when we talk about life, kan, wow, this is such a big topic, man.
It is. Hai Kopi Saoalan, saya mau ambil peluang ini untuk ucap terima kasih kepada semua kamu yang sentiasa hadir untuk support setiap episode baru di Stef It Up Launch Podcast ini. Kalau kamu belum lagi subscribe di channel ini, saya mau invite kamu untuk subscribe, right? Sebab kamu punya subscription sebenarnya membantu channel ini untuk grow, dan supaya kami boleh invite lebih ramai inspiring individuals, people untuk datang di dalam podcast ini. Okay, so thank you so much, dan let's get back to the podcast. You experienced 15 years kan abroad.
Yes.
What is the thing yang what is the change of mindset that you learned abroad that made you want to do more di Sabah?
Wow, we're getting deeper conversations now, yeah. I think kalau kita berada di luar negara kan, satu benda yang paling ketara ialah cara diorang hidup di sana, you know. And of course there are realities over there, they are much different than ours. So I think yang paling ketara ialah language,
Right.
you know. In order to communicate with people over there, you have to have a certain command of English. Dan kita tidak boleh leka dengan cara kita cakap English di sini, kerana cara kita cakap English di sini sangat berbeza dengan orang di sebelah sana. Kalau orang UK, lain lagi dia orang punya English. Orang Eropah, mungkin English bukan dia orang punya bahasa pengantara yang pertama, lain lagi logat dia orang di sana dan cara penggunaan perkataan. I lived in the States for about 11 years, and there's a different way that they talk over there. And when you go to the States, there are 50 different states in the US, and each state is unique. Different way of life, different way of thinking, different way of having different culture even though the US does not have a culture. But when you go to different states, there's a certain way of life, there's a certain way of apa. So I guess culture for them is itu, you know. So I lived in the South. I lived in the South, in Tennessee, in Nashville, and one of the things that I love about the South is how similar things are with how it is here in Sabah. Not
Really?
infrastructure-wise,
Okay.
but the way we talk to people, the way we care about people, you know. You've heard about the term Southern hospitality. So Southern hospitality is pretty much similar like how Sabahans treat people, and how we care for one another, and also how we treat outsiders.
Agreed, yes.
Yeah. So
Is it the
that's
same there?
a little bit.
Okay.
I think there are similar things that we can learn, and there, you know, it doesn't matter how far we go in life kan, ataupun di mana-mana di serata dunia ni kan, ada tempat-tempat tu yang kita rasa macam wah, macam lebih kurang sama saja begitu. So that, and we do that because we want to find that comfort in the foreignness of that place.
Yes.
So to answer your question yang macam I was lucky that when I was in the States, there were many experiences that I had to go through. University life was different. Working with immigrants was different. Working with Americans was different to me. So it was an accumulation of different experiences that built my thought, my way of thinking. You know, I'm always I think one thing that I really learnt in America is things must be results based. You know, anything that you do mesti ada dia punya result, dia punya apa ni, kesudahan dia, not kesimpulan, but dia punya result, you know. Like say for instance, what do we want to achieve in our department in 3 months? We have to do this. So I'm always used to that system whereby okay, kita ada goal, and macam mana kita mau capai itu goal. Kita tidak boleh macam let's just go with the flow and just make things happen just like that without having that goal
Plans.
plans in mind. So it becomes boring like that. You know, I think Americans they appreciate having goals and they work towards it, and that's how they grow. You know, when you study dorang punya sejarah 200 lebih tahun kan, it's all based on building up experiences, building up skills, building up a lot of things, and that's one of the things that I appreciated when I was there. So but yeah, I love my years in the States. the friends that I've made there, the conversations that I had, the work environment that I was in, it was something that I will never forget lah. Macam masing-masing kena create your own experiences di luar sana kan. Tapi itulah, I mean, for as a Sabahan, right, if you're able to go overseas, if you're able, tidak payah cakap overseas lah, kalau mau dapat kerja pergi KL lah, okay, if we're going to be part of the brain drain, I would encourage people to just get out. Get out from our comfort zone here so that they're able to see things outside, work with different people, you know, and that's how we're able to build our character, test ourselves as human beings, and see where we are in this world, you know. Work with difficult people.
I agree.
You know, work with difficult people, because the more people demand out of you, the more you are tested and you're able to find out like, wow, macam mana kita boleh tahan. You know, we always talk about mental health these days. I would say just, yeah, mental health is important, but at the same time, mental resilience is something that we also need to look at. Kita tahan nggak? Yeah.
Do you think it's learnable or teachable, mental resilience?
Oh gosh, I think mental resilience is something that it can be polished. I think it can be polished. Kadang-kadang kan people will use the excuse of mental health as untuk putus asa, you know, because dia tidak tahan, you know, situasi itu, because the situation might be difficult kah. It doesn't matter if it's a work situation kah. Oh, I cannot work with this person and it's affecting my mental health. Macam begitu bah. We shouldn't do it that
macam way. Alasan.
Yeah, macam alasan. So we have to have resilience. Like, macam, okay, if we're in that situation, how can we work together? How can we collaborate better? How can we communicate better? You know, so that's one of the things that I think people should have, so that they're able to achieve goals together, collaborate better together. Because at the end of the day kan, kalau kita mau jadi produktif, tidaklah saya mau cakap produktif tu sesuatu yang, you know, sangat positif dalam dunia. It shouldn't just be results based, but also the quality of life also should be good. Tidak guna kalau kita kerja lepas tu kita tidak apa, kan kita tidak puas hati, kita tidak capai apa yang kita mau. But at the end of the day is how are we able to ensure that the experiences that you gain, it's deep in your heart and you're able to grow as a person, and then you're able to use that experience to create better situations for other people. Be of service.
True.
Make things happen for, again, the state, the country, the community, you know, and how are we able to be a good person and contribute so that other people pun dapat enjoy dan nikmati satu kehidupan yang lebih bagus daripada sekarang.
I think you mentioned one, make it happen a lot in your life, and also from our conversation in that short conversation, you always cakap about be of service, and something that I learned from Simon Sinek juga is to live a life of service, meaning you want to help people.
Yes.
Through any means that you are doing, you want it to benefit other people as well, bukan yourself saja. What is the thing yang make you want to live that life?
I grew up in a family where we're always being of service to other people. I think itu yang selalu macam, you know, you're so used to mom helping people. You're so used to dad helping people. My dad used to be a politician. He's retired now. Mom used to be a magistrate. Has a law firm in KK, and as a child, you cannot help but notice that people come to the office, and you know, sometimes they have. You just have to be a problem solver. I think that's one of the critical things that we need in life. And sometimes when we're so good at being a problem solver, that we want to also assist other people to assist as much as you can. Also myself as a hotelier, the service of a hotelier is to problem solve each and every day for the guest. And that is something that I've always done for a good 15, 20 years when I was in the States, and also working in that particular industry is memang sebati sudah dalam jiwa yang macam, oh, sebagai seorang hotelier, sebagai seorang yang berada dalam industri perkhidmatan ni, it's always in service for other people. I don't know. It's like it's so ingrained in me, and it's just a natural thing. And when we think of mottos in life, and when we think of, you know, words that we want to portray and we want to represent ourselves. Make it happen is a tagline that I think is a call to action on its own, you know. And it becomes a response. It becomes an answer to everything in my life. Oh, jom kita buat ni kerja. Let's make it happen. Make it happen can mean many things.
Yes.
Let's make it to the best of our ability. Let's try to collaborate as much as possible. Let's try to, let's make things happen. Macam begitu. It becomes this mantra. It becomes this call to action. It becomes this motivational tagline where we just continue to forward with whatever that we want to do. Kita selalu ada impian, Pak. Everybody ada impian, kan? Semua ada impian, but sometimes the only thing that hinders us is fear. Kita selalu tidak mau ambil langkah yang seterusnya kerana kita takut. Kita overthinking sometimes, you know. You talked about imposter syndrome in a few other episodes before, you know, because we feel like we are not capable enough, you know. And we hesitate, we take a step back, and then we just duduk, and then we're like, then the dream just duduk shelf saja di sana, menanti kena rebut saja. That's all, you know. And I think if you have your own self-motivation, the same way kita berus gigi setiap hari tanpa motivasi, you know. So if you're able to just make things happen without having that push of motivation ke apa, I can tell you that if we have at least 10% of people in our world or even in Sabah that can have that mindset ataupun mentality, kan banyak benda boleh jalan.
Agreed.
I'm sure a lot of our viewers here today, they want to open businesses. They want to wanna have a better life, wanna have a better job, but there are many things that are hindering them. It's okay, life memang begitu, kan? But I think as a person, we also have to problem solve, and we also have to have a little spark in our life where we have to say, how can I make this happen? Again, back to the curiosity.
Yes.
Being a problem solver, how to put your ducks in a row, and how can you work towards that particular goal? So daripada kecil lagi memang saya berpegang kepada prinsip kalau kita mau sesuatu mesti ada dia punya jalan. You know, where there's a will, there's a way. Always, you know. And everybody can have dreams, everybody can have impian, cita-cita, whatever that you want to call it. But at the end of the day, what are we working towards achieving those dreams? You want to own a business, you want to own a car, you want to have a family, you want to do this, you want to do that, you want to go overseas, you want to, you know, I think if we have that ability to start thinking like, I can make this happen, you know. I'm sure ada orang cakap, saya mau jadi kaya.
Yes.
You know, saya mau jadi kaya, tapi saya tiada duit. But if we change the mindset, you know what? It's okay. I think I just have to make sure that I have certain skills so that I'm able to build on wealth or build on, you know, untuk membina kekayaan diri. And the definition of kekayaan, itu that will be a different case and a different story for another day. But I'm sure ada impian macam sebegitu, you know. And at the end of the day, it's like, what are we doing towards that? Tiada guna kita just duduk angan-angan cita-cita untuk apa? You know, so at the end of the day, especially to our viewers out there, if you have a goal, if you have a dream, if you want to achieve something, you have to ask yourself, what are we doing about it today? Are we just duduk diam-diam, goyang-goyang kaki, or are we working towards that particular goal? And believe me, take that first step, whatever it is, just take that first step, because I always believe in getting better every single day, you know, putting in your 1% so that in a month, you are 30% better than 30 days ago.
I agree.
You know, and you build on those small habits towards achieving your goal. Back to our topic about being curious. Along the way, that 30 days while you are trying to better yourself, you'll learn new things. You will stumble. You will hit roadblocks for sure. And then it becomes like, macam mana kita mau keluar daripada ini situasi? Macam mana kita mau pastikan yang kita akan jauh ke hadapan lagi? So kalau kita dapat jadi baik, if we become better, 1% each day, we build up new skills, build up new experiences. Trust me, we can go further and further and further.
I think in economy they call it compounding effect.
Yes, that.
Yeah. And I'm loving this conversation so far. I love it. Although kita punya goal adalah to talk about public speaking, but we'll get there. Again, saya mau recall back, you said you talk about fear. You know what's hindering most people from doing, from reaching their dreams are fear of being kena cakap say no, fear of being told no, fear of having rejections, fear of having itulah takut untuk kena cakap orang, or takut untuk fail. Have you ever heard I think there's a bukan parables lah, but ada story about the Kerbau and the storm.
Oh, tell me a story.
Right.
Make sure it's good.
I hope lah. So the story about Kerbau dan storm. What's storm in Malay? Storm?
It's at the tip of my tongue. Goodness, ni lah ni kalau ada
Right.
ada ability when you have to
Ribut?
Yes,
Right.
there we go. Nanti.
It's gonna be there. Okay. Anyway, a kerbau versus sapi, right? So the mentality of a kerbau, right, buffalo, kalau ada ribut, dia orang akan go through the ribut. Kalau sapi pula, kalau ada, you know, they can sense it's gonna rain or not. And when it's gonna rain, kerbau would go through the ribut, buffalo would go through the storm. Sapi akan lari as far away from the storm as possible. But you know, in life, the something we fear is always gonna haunt us. As if we go through it, it's, you know, we're gonna win over it, right? Kalau kita jadi sapi, we just run away from our fear. We just keep running away. It's gonna haunt us for the rest of our lives. So again, when you talk about fear, it is definitely the thing yang hindering us from reaching our goal. I think most people even di Sabah, banyak yang ada big goals, big dreams, but what do you think? Why do you think that happened? This fear mindset.
I can't speak for other people because we have to acknowledge that different people have different experiences, backgrounds, that sort of thing. But one thing that is always universal is that we fear because kita takut. Like all the excuses that you mentioned, lah. We are scared of being judged. We are scared that we might fail. We are scared because of numerous things, and that's one of the things that I learned when I was in the States. That you have to be brave to fail. You know, especially in entrepreneurship. But I don't have a business when I was in the States, so I am not able to relate to it. But in the department that I worked in, the hotel housekeeping, one of the toughest departments that you can ever work in. And of course, the experience that you gain from there is also a very, very good one too. I think I was very lucky that I had bosses who really encouraged me to do things, and also at the same time, they gave me a lot of room to experiment. Experiment meaning, this one thing might work. This one thing might not work in a department. So I think that allowed a lot of room for growth, where fail, kita menangis, and then what's the next step, so that we're able to rectify this and make it better, macam begitu. So but itulah, over here macam saya rasa kita selalu ada langkah berhati-hati.
Yes.
You know, and that's fine too, because we don't want to suffer too much losses ke apa-apa when we talk about business punya konteks kan. But that's one thing that I always learned in the States, is that it's okay to fail, it's okay to experiment, it's okay to cuba try test. You know, it's okay to do all of that, because we want to test the waters, we want to test the temperature. Kita boleh ke tidak ni, you know?
Yeah.
And sometimes when we self-doubt ourselves, and it's okay to self-doubt, you know, the imposter syndrome ka, ataupun ini perasaan macam boleh ka, you know, but kadang-kadang kita mesti ada tu keyakinan diri. Kalau kita tiada tu keyakinan diri, we will stay stagnant over there, and we will not take that next step. But if we are able to encourage ourselves, not motivate, encourage ourselves, and just tell ourselves, pat us on our back and say, jom kita buat, mari kita buat, let's make it happen, you know, let's take that next step, you know. Boleh ba ini?
Yeah.
So sometimes we just have to tell ourselves that we can do things instead of questioning things, or perhaps saying, tidak boleh. And sometimes I'm guilty of that too. I'll tell you a little story about how I started emceeing.
Sure, yeah.
It was because I said yes after saying no numerous times,
right.
That we're able to make things happen. So I'll tell you this little story. So I started emceeing when the former president of Kinabalu Pink Ribbon approached me because dulu saya ada business juara gym di Putatan, and every Sunday we would have this free community class. We'll ask people to come to do Zumba for 1 hour. It's just a way for me to invite the community to come to our center, and no commitments, just come and just dance, and maybe that one step of doing Zumba or fitness dance will encourage them to do better things in fitness. Little thing. Itu belakang cerita lah. Another story for a different day. So of course, me as a person that that I'm a business owner at that time, and we obviously have to welcome everybody. Saya pun orang hotel juga, so it's natural in our hearts and in our minds that okay, orang datang pergi tempat kita pastikan yang diorang kena kasih welcome lah dengan cara yang baik, create a great impression, create a good first impression. So naturally I will take the microphone and I will just say, selamat datang, terima kasih kerana datang. Every Sunday we would have this class, introduce myself, and you just have to do your PR basically. So because I did that every Sunday, and then all of a sudden the Puan Natra, who was the former president of Kinabalu Pink Ribbon, which is an association here in Sabah that supports women with breast cancer. And we also supported some of the activities, and we hosted them at our center. And dia cakap, Ben, kau mesti jadi kami punya MC untuk Mother's Day Walk tahun depan. This was in 2015.
Right.
2015. 9 years ago. 2015. And I was like, Puan, no. I am never going to MC in front of the thousands of people who are going to participate in your event. Lagi-lagi, you punya patron, which is yang amat berbahagia, Toh Puan Dr. Nolida, which is the spouse of the TYT.
Right.
So yang macam, no, I don't think I'm going to do like events macam begitu and then more MC semua. Memang tidak lah. But Puan Natra ni kan, my goodness, they're sangat persistent, Ben, kau boleh buat ba? I said no, because again, it's not imposter syndrome at that time. It was like, memang saya betul-betul tidak tahu macam mana mau jadi MC. I never thought of MC as a career or as something that we're able to contribute in society. And syukurlah 9 years later that we're able to do that. Nanti kita cerita dengan lebih lanjut pasal tu. But then I said, bodoh ba kau, Ben? Kenapa you kept saying no to a person who has survived cancer? Berdosau.
Right.
Berdosau. So I said, okay lah, kita kasih muka lah. Okay, Puan, I will be your MC. You have to give me a little bit of time to learn how to MC because I don't know anything about protocol. I don't know who these people are. They always talk about salutation lah, itulah, inilah. So yang macam, okay lah. Again, back to saying that life is always a process of learning every single day in the spirit of being curious, in the spirit of wanting to serve the community, in the spirit of wanting to learn something new. Saya pergi belajar lah macam mana jadi MC. Jumpa sama orang-orang di Jabatan Istiadat dan Protokol. Macam mana mau address kita punya spouse of our TYT who is also the patron of this association. So daripada sana kita belajar. Last I stumbled a little bit. I'm okay with doing mistakes. You have to make a fool out of yourselves at the beginning when you're trying to make things happen and you want to achieve bigger things and bigger goals in life. And 2015, the Mother's Day Walk Abreast event, the Padang Merdeka, 6,000 people, everyone dressed in pink. And this was at a time when marathon and runs were about to get popular.
Right.
Remember once upon a time, setiap hari Sabtu, setiap hari Ahad ada
Every week,
saja activity. Masa tu baru mau up. So macam kalau ada satu event tu bermaksud semua orang pergi sana. Yeah. So I don't think that event, the Kinabalu Pink Ribbon Mother's Day Walk Abreast, tidak pernah ada crowd yang sebegitu besar lagi because of the different events. So that's how I started in the emceeing world. It was because of me saying yes after saying no several times. It was because of me being curious. It was because of maybe a little bit of people pleasing that I am where I am today.
Right.
That sometimes you just have to take that first step. And you just have to have that little belief in yourself that you can do it, you know. And that's how I started in the emceeing world.
I think I heard one of your interviews. you said emceeing is an accident in
Yes.
your life. But now that I know, it's because you took the risk of saying yes. Because something you don't know. Kalau kita tidak tahu something, I think in my life I've said yes to a lot of things yang I haven't learned, yang saya tidak tahu lagi. But I said yes, and that allows me untuk belajar benda baru,
Yes.
you know, in order to excel in that situation. But I think kalau kita roll back balik tadi, when people have that fear untuk buat sesuatu, and then you said we just test the water, test the temperature semua. But I think another important thing is kita perlu ada itu KPI, you know, the metric yang kita perlu look at to know where kalau kita sudah sampai penghujung, whether we can do more ataupun we cannot go further. When we reach that state, that's the time when it's time to try a new place. It's time to go a new place macam tu.
It's like naik gunung. It's like naik gunung. So any hikers out there? I'm not a hiker. I don't like hiking. Saya naik Gunung Kinabalu after an injury. Saya sampai sayat-sayat saja, and getting the black and white certificate pun dalam hati saya pun ini cukup pengalaman yang cukup besar dan cukup baik sudah untuk saya.
Right.
But it's like ascending a mountain.
Yeah.
The moment you sudah sampai di atas, what's the next mountain that you want to climb? It always has to be that, you know. If we sudah capai saja satu goal, then there has to be another bigger goal at hand. And I think the motivation is, kita sudah capai, sudah dapat daki satu gunung kan, and then the motivation tiba-tiba mesti ada untuk daki gunung yang lebih tinggi, ataupun daki beberapa buah gunung lagi supaya dapat lagi tu euforia yang kita sudah capai sesuatu benda. And that's why it's very, very important for us, Stef, to celebrate little victories in life. You know, we talk about being better 1% each day, you know, and after we unlock a certain skill, after we unlock a certain, you know, a way of thinking, that sort of thing, then we should take a step back, and we should also not step back lah. We should pause, pause and acknowledge the moment and say, you know what, kita sudah unlock satu benda baru. Yay! Let's celebrate a little bit. Bukan celebrate yang, you know, mau pergi mau ginum ke apa kan. That's that, you know, not that kind of celebration, but it's more of an acknowledgement that hey, we have reached a certain level in our life, a certain level in our careers, whatever you want to call it. Let's stop, pause, you know, and then acknowledge the moment, and then go on with the goal, and going to, you know, the next victory and the next victory and another victory, and then all these accumulation of victories will make us reach that goal that we have, you know. Takkan kita mau just autopilot saja and then just capai saja itu goal and then that's it, you know. Macam saya juga lah masa naik gunung, because I didn't train to climb up Kinabalu, and I know I said, memang uncit lah saya, sampai Panalaban saja lah cukup lah ini, you know. But no, I told myself every 500 meters I will say kita doa and we envision the next 500 meters, macam begitu. It's a mental game, you know.
Yes.
And life should be that way too, that after that 500 meters, then we should pause and then reflect. I think that introspect tu sangat-sangat penting, because kita kena sedar diri juga. Tiada guna kalau kita kejar kemewahan kah, kejar kejayaan kah, kejar sukses dan segalanya, tapi kita lama-lama lupa diri. And by the time kita sudah capai kita punya sukses, terus kita apung-apung. We are not grounded people, you know. Kita lupa diri immediately, and that's what we need less of in this world. So there has to be a lot of introspect that we need to do, especially when we want to achieve things in life. Are we on the right track? Are we okay? Are we mentally prepared? Are we mentally hurt? You know, we have to acknowledge all of those things before we go on to the next one. And then you just repeat sampai abang jambil mampus lah, gitu, you know. And then once we already reach that goal, and then the realization comes, what's the next goal? You know, Kalau mau jadi proaktif, 1 kilometer sebelum capai tu you already have to think what's next lagi, you know. Jangan kita lupa yang kita sudah capai kita punya goal and then baru mau fikir what's next begitu. So we have to be proactive. It's the same thing like your little book that you have there. I keep eyeing that 7 Habits of Effective People. One of the best books that I ever read in my life, and I think people should have those 7 habits, you know. And the last habits that was mentioned in the book is sharpening the saw. You know, that kita mesti selepas kita ada segala-gala experience dalam kehidupan kita, that we must continue to learn, you know. And that is the spirit of we Sabahans should have, that kita tidak boleh selesa, kita tidak boleh leka, kita tidak boleh kata yang cukuplah kita ada diploma, degree, SPM, STPM dan segalanya. Kita mesti teruskan kejar ilmu. Itu yang paling ilmu. That is the huge denominator of what makes people different, is our curiosity to get more knowledge.
True.
You know, we're so lucky that we have researchers who come to Sabah who are always curious about Borneo to study whatever lah. Kita punya wildlife kah, kita punya whatever natural habitats that we ever have over here, and we should be asking ourselves, what are we learning from them too? You know, bukan diorang datang pergi sini untuk belajar, but it's like communication. It has to be 2 ways, you know. So I know we are jumbling everywhere.
No problem.
With apa, and so to me it's like, back to, if we were going to, in your words, roll back to the topic that we are talking about, which is wanting to continuously climb mountains, continuously to be better, and we always have to have that little ounce of motivation to keep us pushing. And it's always good to have that little quote, that little say in our heart, that whatever little quote that keeps pushing us forward.
You know, we talk about reaching things as a person, as a sole person, but what do you think about support system?
I think it's very important for you to assess who you have in your circle. You know, kalau kita mau jadi orang yang berjaya, kalau dari sudut, I don't know, business ke apa, then naturally you have to surround yourself with people who are successful too, so that you can learn from them. You learn from their failures. You learn from their experiences and all of that. If that's what you mean by support system, then it's something that we need to have. Kadang-kadang kita macam kita selalu tanya kan, high school, sekolah menengah, kita ada saja kita punya kawan-kawan yang kita selalu rapat-rapat, because kita sekepala dengan diorang, kita suka cara diorang bergaul semua. Tapi last lepas kita habis sekolah menengah, terus kita fikir-fikir, alamak, siapa kawan-kawan kita di sekolah menengah yang kita masih kawan, you know, because we have moved on. Mungkin kadang-kadang kita terfikir macam, kenapa saya berkawan sama ni orang? And then last kita dapat tahu yang dia mungkin leka kah, dia tidak ngam dengan kita punya haluan, kita punya hala tuju dalam kehidupan. So I think that's adulting. We suddenly realize when we are growing, we suddenly realize that, I need to reassess my friends. I need to reassess the people that I hang out with. I need to reassess the people that we are having conversations with. And I think that's good to have, you know. And then we start realizing that, dalam masa senang, dalam masa susah, kita boleh tahu sudah siapa kita punya kawan-kawan, kita tahu sudah siapa-siapa kita punya orang yang akan bersama-sama dengan kita kalau kita senang, kita susah dan sebagainya. So yes, support system is always very important. I realize in my age that my support system is smaller and smaller and smaller, and that's okay. We don't have to have many people around us to macam support kita sentiasa, but when we have good key people in our life, that I think we can thread life nicely. Macam begitu. I hope that answered your question when you want to talk about support system.
Another thing I want to touch also, have you ever hit rock bottom in your life?
Oh gosh, a few times. I'm still trying to think what moments that I while we are chasing success and all of that stuff, when I was in the States, you know, I lead a very, very lonely life over there. I don't have Malaysian friends. A lot of people who are overseas, they have their Malaysian friends and whatnot. People that are close to home or remind them of home. I didn't have that luxury when I was in the States. it wasn't by choice ke apa-apa. Memang begitu. The university that I went, we don't have a Malaysian student
Community.
society community. That's sort of, I think I was the only Malaysian. It's a very small university there, and the whole reason why I studied in that university was because of the business accreditation that the university had. There was another university that was in the States, in Nashville, that has a Malaysian community, but they don't have a business program over there. So yeah, so it felt a little lonely. And yes, there were times that you have to fight with your mental health, that sort of thing. You're away from home, you're away from things that are comfortable for you. And of course, you feel homesick all the time. Mana ada Malaysian restaurant in Nashville? You have to drive like 4 hours to Atlanta to get Malaysian food. And I pun kerja kan, jadi susah juga mau masak ke apa-apa. So it's very, very difficult. But rock bottom, I don't think I want to discuss it here.
Sure.
Yeah, because like mainly I have a lot of family things that I don't feel comfortable talking about publicly. But I have, if the only thing that I can share is my parents are divorced. Obviously, that has affected me a lot. Sometimes when people go through divorce in relationships, I don't know what goes through their minds. Because I'm not in a marriage myself. I think my parents are not great role models when it comes to marriage. And I think marriage is not for everyone. Especially when it comes to our youth pun, kadang-kadang pun kita mau fikir, wah kalau mau kawin pun nanti kita mau fikir apa hala tuju yang seterusnya. Kadang-kadang ada yang mau ada anak, itu pun menjadi satu bebanan, because we talk about perbelanjaan, we talk about finance, that sort of thing, that tidak mau cakap kalau mau ada anak, berapa orang anak yang kita mau pun lagi bertambah kita punya anak, lagi banyak lah kita punya beban, that sort of thing. And and even if they are young couples who want to get married and they say, oh, I don't want to have children, tapi bebanan yang diorang akan rasa ialah daripada ahli-ahli keluarga diorang. Bila aku mau anak, that sort of thing. So those are types of relationships that macam macam modern day problems lah to have. Yeah, but when we want to talk about divorce, that sort of thing, it really affected me. It really affected me, and I think I can be a rebel. I can, do other things, but it's like, nah, I still mau jadi orang yang berguna untuk masyarakat, that sort of thing kan. But yeah, it's a little bit personal for me, which I am not comfortable to talk about. But saya sangat macam orang cakap, I understand what kids have to go through if their parents have to go through a divorce. And sometimes parents always forget what their children always have in mind, or when they think. And sometimes they orang rasa bersalah juga. Is it me? Is it because of my existence? Is it because saya menyedihkan parents kah, apakah? So you always have that natural feeling macam begitu. But parents will always think about, they always think about what they want best for their kids, that sort of thing. I'm okay to experience divorce of parents when I am elder. My parents divorced when I was in my 20s. But I always, saya pun kadang-kadang overthinking. What if this happened when I was a child? I betul-betul tidak mau tahu apa yang saya akan lalui kalau saya ada parents yang divorce macam begitu. So if you want to talk about rock bottom, it's not because of a certain experience in my career ka apa-apa, but it's more of family. And I think that is something that other people experience as well here. I don't think I want to go deeper into it, but I'm here to tell you that if there are people out there who have to go through divorce and things like that, I know there are 101 things that that people will have to go through, and there are people affected. So I'll leave it at that.
Sure. Because seeing Ben, looking at Ben, whenever we had the chance to meet, you're very energetic, you're very fun guy, but we never know, kita tidak pernah tahu pun itulah cabaran-cabaran sebenarnya dalam hidup Ben yang pernah dilalui. So when I talk about support system is itulah, who do you talk to, who got your back when you hit that low moments in your life. I think that's very important juga lah kan for everybody, especially in this industry di mana You get to dimana you jalan sendiri satu, you try to kasih maju diri sendiri a lot of time sendiri, and bila kita sendirian kita perlu cari somebody untuk talk to tentang our problems, and I think that kind of support system is important.
So I'm very lucky that I have my partner Kai.
Yeah.
So he is like, he found me when I was rock bottom in 2014, 2015. Because running a family business is not easy.
Right.
Very, very difficult. And I was very, very happy that we found friendship through something that I had to go through very, very difficult back in 2014, 2015. Itu pun masa saya baru-baru mau up jadi MC, that sort of thing, you know. So, I don't know, life has its funny way of, along the way, even if you stumble, there will always be that hand that is extended to you.
Yes.
The angels will always appear in the most unexpected way. And it's up to us if we want to sambut itu tangan atau tidak. And that hand came in 2015 in the form of Kai. And I'm very grateful until this very day that he has entered my life in that way, that he has become my number one supporter, you know.
That's awesome.
That number one person that would say, if I feel down because, I don't know, overthinking ka, imposter syndrome ka, or we're just not worthy of doing a particular job or a particular event or a particular anything, and he will always be there and he said, no Ben, you can do it. Kau juga yang selalu kasih remind orang, make it happen, this is your time. I'm human too. Right. I'm human too, and there will be times that I feel, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can do this or not. And you know, back to the fear,
yes,
that I don't want to make a fool out of myself, but also there will always be a part of me that says, kita boleh buat ni. I think we can, you know. And you have to digest it slowly. Yes. You know, you cannot just sumbat dalam mulut and just expect it to digest, and of course the outcome will not be good. You just have to cut it nicely, chew it properly, don't swallow. And while you're overthinking and you're thinking like, boleh ni, boleh buat. So Kai has been always my number one supporter. My mom.
Right. My
mom is my number one fan. Selalu tu dia, kalau saya post apa-apa di Facebook ka, di Instagram, and she will always like, we don't live together because she has a husband, she has a great life right now, and I'm very, very happy for her, even though she's divorced, and she has her own new life now, and I'm very, very happy for her. And she will always follow me on Instagram, and you know, dia selalu like lah, comment lah, apa lah. She's celebrating her 70th birthday this year, so
wow.
so she's an awesome person, and dia selalu doa untuk saya. And that's one of the luckiest things and one of the blessings that I ever have in this life is doa seorang ibu.
True.
So it's macam orang cakap, my success, whatever success that people want to think of, whatever that I'm doing now, walaupun saya rasa saya belum lagi capai sukses saya, I have so many things that I want to do in life, and I'm just slowly doing and slowly taking those steps according to whatever that I can, my ability. Tapi berkat doa ibu tu lah yang saya rasa yang betul-betul kasih propel saya ke depan, you know. And I always thought about death all the time, you know, especially lepas COVID, ramai orang meninggal, ramai orang yang kita sayang yang apa, and I always thought about what happens if mom's not around anymore, you know, yang macam I don't know, this overthinking mind sometimes it just bothers you, and sometimes you have to tell yourself that, yeah, these are fears that you have to face. These are fears that you have to face eventually, and you just have to be brave. You just have to force yourself. There's no other way around it. One thing certain about life is death. And that's something that all of us will have to face. So I always think like, wah, kalau mami tiada sudah, what's going to happen? Mommy, sorry, I'm talking about it, and I know she might be watching this. But yeah, it's like I said, support system is very important. You fear that you lose that support system one day. You will do all you can to ensure that you will hold on to the support system as much as possible. And I'm very, very blessed that I have those key people in my life. And it's good enough for me.
Yeah.
I cannot imagine life without them. Seriously, it will break me. If Kai tiada, saya tidak tahu. I'll be like, I don't want to even
imagine
it. Yeah.
Yes.
So one of the ways to break that fear is to be present.
I agree. Yes.
To be present, to be blessed, to feel grateful every single day. Kai selalu marah saya because saya selalu overthink. I'm an overthinker. I don't know why I always think of silly things, and the weakness of an overthinker is 90% of the time that we think tidak akan terjadi pun. Bodoh lah. Yeah. But sometimes it's good to overthink because you have a creative mind.
Yes.
You think of things ahead. You think of different scenarios, and because of you thinking different scenarios, maybe it's because you are also a good problem solver that way.
I agree, yes.
So that's why I forgive myself for being the way I am. So, and I'm grateful for Kai. I'm grateful that sometimes in life we need to have that support system. It doesn't matter if that person is a partner, a family member, a dear friend, or even a stranger, that sometimes we just have to acknowledge that there will always be that hand that extends to you, and it's up to us if we want to capai atau tidak.
True. And also, I think I just want to add in, sometimes we need to ask as well.
Oh, yeah, I agree. Kita tidak boleh jadi hero. We are never heroes here.
True.
And everyone ada di orang punya kesusahan, ada di orang punya kepayahan dalam hidup. Dan yang paling penting ialah, do we even have the courage and can we lower our ego to ask for help?
Yes.
Of course, saya malu mau tanyalah kalau mau minta bantuan ke apa-apa. It can be emotional. Emotional, I'm very lucky because I have Kai, I have mom, I have my aunt. My aunt is also like my second mom who took care of me. So macam emotional support tu kadang-kadang saya rasa cukup untuk saya. Kalau macam dari sudut bantuan, I don't know, resources, that sort of thing, I think we are adult enough to, seek for those assistance with whatever network and whatever keupayaan yang kita ada. Syukurlah saya belum lagi ada bencana yang berlaku. No, I take that back. Pernah berlaku bencana kepada saya di US.
Right.
Tempat saya terbakar. Oh my God.
Oh no.
Tempat saya terbakar. So it's a house. So 1/4 of the house belongs to my landlord, and then my landlord, dia tinggal lah in the other 3/4 of the house. I was working. Oh my gosh. Now, sometimes in life kan, bila kau ada keperitan hidup, you try to kasih masuk di belakang-belakang.
Yes.
And this is even a story that I don't even share to people. My goodness. And it was a traumatic experience to me, but for some reason, I don't know why I decided to. I don't want to acknowledge it too much because sometimes we are so busy in life that, okay, we hit like a shall we say like a speed bump, and then it's time to move on. Macam begitu. I don't know if that's even an illness or not, but I did cry. I did cry because my boss said, "Is there anything that I can do to help?"
Oh my God.
And the moment she asked me that question, and dalam kehidupan saya, dan semasa saya kerja 2 kali dia tanya saya, because I felt like macam I'm a capable human being, and I've never asked for help, but because someone acknowledges or someone did say that, Ben, you need help, I'm extending a hand here, and the hand comes in a form of a question. Do you need help, Ben? Terus saya nangis. I was like, this is more like a very traumatic experience, more than the kebakaran. It's more like, banyak sudah beban yang kau bawa, Banyak sudah beban dalam kehidupan kau bawa. Being the eldest in the family, going through divorce of of my parents, and I have to experience this when I was overseas, and then you have your own personal goals that you want to achieve, and then you have the fire, which basically broke you into pieces. And I was like, tiba-tiba ada orang tanya, Ben, do you need help? And I was like, yeah, I cried. I don't want to cry here lah.
Sure.
I don't want to cry here, but
I mean, you can, but
so I think like what you mentioned is that if there's any point in your life that you need help, seek for it. Don't be scared to ask. tidak malu pun, tidak hilang kau punya malu atau kau punya ego kalau kau mau tanya pasal pertolongan ke apa-apa, if you need help. But at the same time, I also want to advise people to not abuse it. You know, paling common lah di Sabah dan di kita punya kehidupan kan, orang selalu pinjam duit. And I'm always a person that loves to help people. You know, kita bantulah di mana yang kita boleh bantu. But one of my weakness is also tidak pandai kejar tu hutang, you know, because kita ikhlas mau kasih. Walaupun tu orang cakap, saya akan kasih balik juga, saya bayar kau balik and all of that stuff. But saya malas mau gaduh bah, you know, and it becomes like a little risky investment. It's like, am I willing to lose this whatever amount that yang saya mau kasih pinjam? And again, back to the people pleasing. Sometimes that's also an issue, and sometimes we have to, you know, we have to realize that sometimes in life, when we want to take care of our mental health, we cannot be people pleasers all the time either. Yeah. So I would say, like, you know, asking for help is fine. Don't abuse it. And know where to get it. And I think it's very, very important when you have a good network too, so that you know where to find this help. Sometimes asking for help needs to be strategic as well. But there will come a time where sometimes mau minta pertolongan ke apa-apa pun tidak boleh strategic sudah, because kau memang jatuh sudah, kau memang rebah sudah, you know. But yeah, thanks for the question. It's very deep, and I hope it's something of benefit to kita punya audience hari ini. I may appear like very happy and doing a lot of things, making things happen, that sort of thing, but I have my own challenges. I have my own demons that I have to fight. I try not to disclose it. I try not to talk about it too much, because of that fear of being judged and all of that. But sometimes I think like people look up to me is because of the things that I'm doing. So I think it's better for me to just, you know, tidak payah mau terlampau disclose lah banyak pasal benda-benda yang terlalu personal. But paling personal is a lot of people in my social media know that I have Kai in my life, and I'm very, very grateful that he is there as my support system. People who read comments would know that my mom is always somewhere there, selalu kasih doa, titip doa, that sort of thing, you know. So I'm just grateful that I have that little support system. I can be down at times. Macam baru-baru ni saya back to back saya kerja kan, back to back kerja, and that broke me. It really did, sampai saya sakit. Macam and I have to reassess. Am I doing for the sake of just doing things, or am I doing? You just have to. Sometimes you have to buat introspect. You know, macam betul-betul fikir di dalam. Apa kita buat ni? You know, what is your purpose? What is your nawaitu? What is your niat when you want to do? I know I have my certain goals that I want to meet, but at the same times we have to be reminded: are we along? You know, are we on track?
Yes,
to achieve these goals?
I think it's important, especially I think this you mentioned also this week. It's a break for you, right?
Yes.
You're taking a break. This week, so I think all of us, whoever we are, we need that moment. You know, we need to have that. I think now it's famously called healing.
Oh man,
healing time.
You know, I hate that word actually.
Why?
Paling tak suka. It's like kau ada baju putih kan?
Right.
Kau ada baju putih, and then kau heal sudah bah. Tapi malangnya dunia ni kan penuh dengan kicap.
Right.
Kicap di sana, kicap di sini. Orang lontar kicap sama kau lontar kicap balik sama orang. So always, we are always covered in kicap. You know. So sometimes when we need to heal, kita bersihkan, kita suci murnikan diri kita untuk bebas daripada kicap.
Right.
And then kita masuk lagi dunia dengan penuh dengan kicap. So what are we doing? You know, going in and out, in and out, in and out. So I'm like, tidak bolehkah kita just harungi dunia ni dengan kicap sentiasa, dan kita pastikan kicap tu manis, supaya apa-apa kicap yang kena lontar dengan kicap apa-apa kicap yang kena lontar dengan diri kita ni, walaupun dia manis, at least it's macam orang cakap berbaloi dan memberikan kita perisa dalam kehidupan kita, macam begitu.
I like that.
Because healing is good. Healing is like an escape. We need that escape sometimes, you know. But when we escape, it also means that we are ready to face the reality and the challenges, you know. Are you ready for more kicap, you know? So sometimes people think that healing is kita sudah covered in kicap, we want to mandi, and then kita tukar baju putih. And that's the mistake that we're doing. Kita pakai baju putih, and then we go back to the reality. Why not we tukar the baju putih, pakai baju yang hitam, so that we assimilate. We are able to take in, face whatever challenges that we have, so that by the time kita sudah penuh dengan kicap, kita pergi heal balik, we get more experience. We know how to handle the next time that people kasih lontar kicap sama kita. I love kicap. So
No worries.
you know how healing it is to have a nice, beautiful plate of rice. You letak saja kicap
Oh my gosh, yes.
and telur di atas. That is my comfort food. After a busy day.
Nasi panas juga.
Yeah, panas-panas lagi and all that stuff. I can tell you right now. And Kai knows. He's right there, I hope. He knows that if I'm having a very bad day, because saya tidak puas hati pasal saya punya performance kah, mungkin kena tegur organizer kah, ataupun kita fikir we could do a better job kah, I would want to hide myself in a cave. I'm an introvert. I don't like socializing as much as my work requires me to socialize. We will socialize, but I always find myself as an introvert where I will always hide in a cave. And in that cave, all I need is just a comfortable bed and a plate of rice and egg, and I am good for life. Cukup sudah. Kau kasih saya kicap lemak manis, jalen especially, ataupun kicap cap ayam, cukup sudah bagi saya. You know, and that's life. I am apa? Oh my God, Kai is here. Are you listening to this conversation? Yeah, he's.
You know, you can sit inside, Kai.
But yes. Kai has always been my number one supporter.
That's awesome.
And if people who are watching, if you think that Ben Uzair is successful or I suka Ben ka apa ka, thank you very much. This does not happen alone. It's the people behind the scenes that really, really took care of me. My team, people like Kai, people yang jaga juara gym right now, my side business. I am lucky that I have a team who are, macam orang cakap, nak payah saya tegur hari-hari. You know, nak payah saya mau bising-bising ke apa. They know what to do already. I think that comes with communication.
Sure.
You have a goal and you make sure that your team believes in your goal. And I have Tammy, who is also my special assistant, who takes care of a lot of the things, you know, my visuals, my when I do my training, my slides and all of that stuff. So dia banyak jaga itu. So I if anyone out there who thinks that Ben Uzair is doing well, successful, it's not because of me, it's because of the team that supports me behind the scenes. And I'm very, very grateful for that. And doa ibu also. Syukur. Alhamdulillah.
Syukur. That's amazing, Ben. I love that. Actually, we met for the first time during Mr. Kamatan, my season of Mr. Kamatan, right? 2022.
Itulah, saya pun terfikir-fikir ba. Saya pernah jumpa Stef, tapi saya because the Mr. Kamatan that you won, saya tidak pernah jadi speaker, if I'm not mistaken, right?
You were our speaker.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
What was the place again? The tempat camping sana?
The
Nuluhong Garden, yeah.
Really? Okay. Yes. And yes, I remember now. Sorry. Yes, you are that batch. See, kalau terlampau fikir ke depan terus kau lupa sudah kan ya. Oh gosh. Yes.
Yeah, so anyway, we met there for the first time ever. I mean, I saw you lah on social media. You are actively training for public speaking, for pageants.
Yes.
Miss Grand semua kan? Okay, so we fast forward into this year. You did another session with them, Mr. Kamatan, untuk public speaking punya session di Hausia sana. And then you ask this question kepada contestants, what do you want to do for Sabah? What do you want to contribute for Sabah, right? And then you gave them few people lah untuk explain themselves. I was a viewer lah, saya audience, one of the audience masa itu, and I can see that you are expecting untuk just dalam beberapa saat for them untuk bercakap, explain themselves, and most of them took about 2 to 3 minutes. Now in my mind, I was thinking, if saya di sana on your place, I would say, bolehkah kasih pendek your introduction? That was what I was thinking. And then what you did was you give them a situation. You know, kalau you are in a lift And
Yes.
I love that. So kalau kau dalam lift, the fastest lift you said is about 15 seconds.
Yes.
But if you are in a lift in a stranger, what would you say within 30 or 45 seconds? What would you say to the stranger to make them want to hear more about yourself?
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, did you just make that up on that time, or you always have that at the back of your mind to give that situation for people in that kind of situation?
It's the classic training in marketing.
Right.
It's the classic training in sales that we always prepare a 15-minute speech in the context of a person. And
Minutes?
In business, seconds, sorry.
Yeah.
That we always prepare a 15-second speech about ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
It's a verbal business card, basically. Like if you have to introduce yourself to a stranger, how would you introduce yourself that makes yourself a person of interest, that will make you have the luxury or even given the honor to continue that 15-second conversation? Because in this world, right, kita punya attention span sadly is very, very short. Yes. So you have to create a punch, especially when we want to do networking, when we want to meet certain people, when we want to create an impression, most importantly. And I think that first 15 seconds of yourself, in addition to you dressing your best, dressing professionally and using all the gestures in the world to ensure that you also create an impression, but what you say about yourself also counts. That 15 seconds, what do you do? And that's why the introduction is always very, very important. What makes Mr. Keempatan so special with the other pageants is that ability to have as a sabahan to portray your culture, to portray your background, to portray who you are as a person, your essence as a sabahan and your place here in Malaysia, that you're able to be an ambassador for your culture and to speak well about your culture to an audience who really wants to know about your culture, And of course, the ambassador has to say a little bit about their punya background. Takkan kita mau just cakap saja kosong pasal kita punya culture, tetapi at the end of the day, when we want to humanize the title, that people need to kenal itu pemenang juga, kan? So to me, it's like we have to. You have to have that 15-second introduction all the time. It has to go beyond, hi, nama saya Ben dan saya berumur so-and-so, saya dari daerah ini. It has to go beyond that.
Yes.
And then if anyone were to attend any macam a proper good sales training, there's this thing called pitching.
Yes, correct.
You have to learn how to pitch yourself, and you have to learn how to sell your business so that you are able to persuade a person, an entity, an organization to be able to, kasih fund sama you ka, apakah pernah dengar business pitching, kan?
Yes. Of course.
So it's the same thing. It's the same thing for 5 minutes. You need to explain why barisan juri ataupun barisan orang di hadapan ni yang boleh memberikan dana kepada kamu, macam mana mau tabat hati diorang. Macam mana mau pastikan yang 10,000, 20,000, 30,000 ringgit ni milik kamu. You have to say something. So the persuasion. So yes, no, I didn't make that up on the spot. It's a marketing training that everybody should do. It's not just to sell products, but also to create an impression.
Sure.
So yeah.
But yeah, I think I totally agree. Everybody has to have that, itulah kita punya introduction for what we believe, And I just wanna recall back again the situation lah yang you give that situation about the lift. I just love that.
The elevator pitch, they call it. Yeah, you can Google it, and it basically says, when you meet a stranger in an elevator, your goal is to create an impression. What are you able to do in that 50 seconds in that elevator from whatever floor to the destination that you're about to go, that you're able to create an impression verbally to that person that will allow you to extend that conversation, that will bring that the stranger will bring you outside of the elevator to continue that conversation. Because all the time, dalam elevator is hi-bye. Itu saja, you know.
Like how you that's why.
Yes. So in that short interaction, if you're able to create a great impression, then the next step would be, hey, we should continue this conversation. Jom, let's have coffee outside of this elevator, macam begitu.
Yeah.
So that's what you call an elevator pitch. That in this world, doesn't matter what product or person that you want to sell or say, that you have that only short time to create an impression. What do you want to do in that 15 seconds? You know, it can be the way you dress. It can be the way you say about things, and it's a persuasion game.
Yes,
you know.
correct.
Yeah.
And I think benda ini important untuk semua orang.
Of course.
Yeah.
Especially maybe ada audience di luar sana yang mungkin mau cari kerja baru, mungkin penat dengan situasi sekarang, and they want to be better, you know. And sometimes you'll never know that your future boss will be in that elevator.
Agreed.
Who might not even have a job opening, but tiba-tiba dia jumpa you. Oh, I like the way you dress. Can you tell a little bit about yourself? In that 15 seconds, walaupun tidak ada kerja yang terbuka atau peluang terbuka, you'll never know that because of your 15-second speech, that tiba-tiba ada peluang yang terbuka.
That is good. I agree.
Know?
Yeah.
Tiba-tiba tiada kerja ataupun tiada peluang, tiba-tiba akan ada peluang. Yes. So you never know that the power of public speaking, the power of pitching, the power of persuading can change lives immediately, even in an elevator.
So when we talk about public speaking, kan, you said persuasion, a lot of things. What are the most important things that you would say people need to learn so that you can be good at public speaking?
I think the number one thing in public speaking, if you want to excel in it, you have to know your stuff. Public speaking is not just main ambil microphone and just main cakap saja, lontar kicap orang cakap. You know, it's not that. Public speaking means that you are credible at a certain topic. You have the essential knowledge that you're wanting to present. And within a time span that you are given, that you're able to express the points to a crowd, you know. Bukan main cakap saja, you know. So that's the essence of public speaking. And while you are talking, while you are expressing and persuading the crowd, you are doing multiple things in addition to the things that you're saying. Your gestures mean something. Your eye contact means something. The way you dress also says something about you. It creates more credibility when you stand on stage or when you do your presentation. Tidak payahlah kita mau bercakap kepada orang-orang luar di luar sana, macam di office for instance, you know, little things, ataupun mungkin ada kalau ada student yang mau buat presentasi ataupun mau buat pembentangan di hadapan orang. So, what are you doing to ensure that the eyes and ears that you have in front of you are able to capture what you're trying to express? Or better, what do you have to present that is of benefit to the audience? Tidak guna kita main cakap-cakap saja shock sendiri, tetapi tidak ada value untuk kita punya audience. Yang paling penting ialah isi-isi yang kita bagi itu ia sangat-sangat berguna untuk kita punya audience, kita punya pendengar, kita punya mata-mata yang melihat tu. So, but yeah, that to me, public speaking, the number one essence and the number one character that you need to have is you have to know your stuff. Yeah.
I think menarik untuk tahu dibila, you know, when did you start training people for public speaking? Ataupun beginilah, when did you discover that you can do public speaking well?
Oh man. Kalau saya kaji balikkan diri saya masa di sekolah menengah, saya paling tidak suka
introvert.
Exactly, I don't like talking in front of people because again, back to the feel of being judged lah, apalah, and it's like, terus saya rasa seriau ni yang macam, okay, I want to go back into my cave, that sort of thing. But to answer your question, kan, I have to go back to my years in the States. Because people are curious about me. Like, where do you come from? That's always because you don't look like them, right?
Yes.
You look a certain way. And even if you don't look a certain way, the way I speak English pun was of a certain way. So they become curious about me. Where are you from? La 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 la. So I think from then I realized that I have that little talent that I'm able to tell stories, to explain things, and people wanted to know more because of the things that I had to say. So daripada sana saya ada realization, wow, this is a craft. This can be something that we can polish, and it can be it's a gift from above, from the universe, whatever that you want to call it, that it can give good to society, can give good to people. I think it's because I see my dad giving political speeches a lot. The hand gestures, how to make people emotional, and sometimes bila kita tengok orang dia tiba-tiba pandai menangis, so there's the choice of words that you use, the narration or the narrative. What do you want to say? What do you want to talk about? It has to evoke certain emotions as well. And so that's one of the things that I learned from my dad when he was doing his political speeches back then. And I also had that realization that speaking can be impactful. Speaking can change the world.
I agree.
When people listen to other people say, it's a responsibility too for the person to present that whatever words that are being said can be motivational, can be impactful, can be inspiring to the listener. So the speaker also has that responsibility to not just cakap kosong, but to cater to the audience, you know. So from there, I started polishing myself to speak well. And it became like a personal branding of sorts, you know. And I think the first experience that I had to train public speaking was in Miss Grand, as I shared in your batch of the Mr. Kaumatan talk that I had before. And it was I can't express how grateful I am to Boy 9, who actually gave me that opportunity to sit down with 3 aspirants in public in the pageant. And all we did was, I became the coach. I just asked them questions. Macam mana mau cover 3 points? Macam mana mau pastikan yang diorang tahu ada isi mau jawab?
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Have you had experience prior to that?
No.
Teaching people?
No.
So that was first time?
That was my first time.
Okay,
yes.
Please continue.
I think it should, yeah. I think I never train people to do debates and that sort of thing. So yeah. So dalam dunia ni ada input dan ada output. So untuk pertama kalinya ada output in that particular sense to teach people. And that Miss Grand opportunity became my first opportunity to teach public speaking. Saya lupa sudah siapa menang apa, but I think everybody did well. And people caught on it, and that's why Joe Allen decided to bring me on board for his state level, not state level, his district level punya apa. So daripada sana dapat jumpa orang-orang hebat macam Karina Mah, who used to be Untuk Ngadau, and then now back then is Miss Grand Bandaraya KK also did quite well. And that's also another success story that I was able to be part of. Karina Mah dulu tidak seberapa hebat dia punya English, but she was a curious person. She wanted to be better. Right. She knows her weaknesses, and she wanted to make life better for her. And I will never forget this, that masa kita train kan time tu, masa kita train, and sampai hari ini saya akan ingat. Selepas kita train, dia tidak akan rehat, dia akan duduk dan dia ada buku. Ini buku yang ABC ataupun yang ajar English, yang grammar punya English, yang darjah 1, darjah 2, darjah 3. I think she bought like whatever books that she got. And dia tulis. Dia belajar, dia orang Semenanjung cakap menelaah, that sort of thing, you know. And I found that really profound because actions do speak louder than words. If we want to be better with public speaking, and if we want to be better with a new skill, that the actions matter, the first step matters, making things happen matter. And she is the profound example of that. hari ni I can have a great English conversation with her. Macam hari tu dia jadi judge kan untuk Mr. Kawatan baru-baru ni for the cultural night. And she was there and we were hugging and we were talking in English and all of that stuff, and she became a person that grew from that person that I was coaching. Yeah. So growth is probably the thing that we need to experience more, to witness more even in this in Sabah, and to see people grow in front of your eyes, and you had a little part in that. It makes you feel like macam berbaloi saya punya tugas, berbaloi apa-apa yang saya buat untuk memberikan perkhidmatan, to be of service to people. And that's what I chase sometimes. I like seeing people succeed. I like seeing people being up there. And you can see that glimmer in their eye, and you can figure out they're already thinking about what's the next mountain that they want to climb. And that's magical. I like it. I for some reason kan Steph, di dunia ni kan ramai orang dengki bah. You know, tidak mau tengok orang berjaya, tidak mau tengok orang lebih senang daripada kau. And we're experiencing that a lot in Sabah, sadly. It makes me so sad. Why can't we be happy for people that they are able to celebrate their own victory, experiencing a moment of joy, just as the same way that people are crowned untuk ngadau Mr. Kamatan. That's why orang Sabah suka betul pageants, because we love seeing people punya ups and downs, people punya victory, and we're seeing it. It's the best reality show on earth, you know. Lebih-lebih lagi kalau kita kenal, you know, and it's a form of entertainment.
I totally agree. Yes.
Yeah. So to me, we need to have more people who are supportive. Back to what we were talking about, support circle, that sort of that. Because support circle can come in a form of strangers as well, and there are people who are rooting for you. There are people who acknowledge the skills that you have. The same way as Puan Natra said, Ben, you should be our MC because I see something in you. Saya yang bodoh cakap no sama dia yang mula-mula. So sometimes we just have to open our eyes and open our ears a little bit and realize that there are people out there who believe in us. Bukan dia orang just suka-suka saja. Sometimes we just have to take a step back and realize that, you know what, if people believe in us, and if they believe in us and we're not doing anything about it, then kita yang rugi. You know, kalau orang percaya dengan kita, yes, it's natural to say no because kita mungkin ada fear, imposter syndrome, not worthy, and all of that, and it's all natural. Apa orang cakap? It's just natural reactions, right? But sometimes we have to realize that, wah, kalau ada orang percaya kita boleh buat, then we should really do some introspect and really realize that, if we have that talent, what can we do to uncover it? You know, so yeah.
The most important thing is the push, you know, the spark, the spark, and she is maybe the gas, you know. So you're the spark, she's the gas. She became bigger flame.
Like that. I like that analogy.
Yeah. So I think there's always somebody in our lives that pushes us to be better.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And it's so important as well to recognize, you know, these people. And back to public speaking kan. Kalau boleh, because this is gonna be here forever in the YouTube channel. If we can have like few minutes of public speaking masterclass, what would you say? What would you talk about?
So, one of the major things that people takut about public speaking is let me rephrase that. People always say that diorang lebih berani mati daripada mau bercakap di hadapan orang, you know, because they fear, again, back to the fear of being judged and all of that stuff. And one of the things that I teach in my classes is visualization,
right?
You know, that you have to believe that people are not there to judge you, but people are there to listen to what you have to say. They have an interest to hear what you have to say.
Can we repeat that? Just to make it very clear.
Okay, all right. Apa suara saya cakap
We
tadi?
we
Okay.
we are there to give. What's
Yes. So when we do a visualization activity, right, especially in my public speaking or even in my Emceeing masterclass, and if we want to not have that fear in our hearts and in our minds, because that's one of the deterrents of public speaking is fear. So one of the many ways to come out from that is a visualization exercise, and the visualization exercise comes in the form of you telling yourself that you can be at the front of this audience, and that people are not going to judge you for what you have to say, but rather they are interested with what you have to say.
Okay.
You know, because kalau orang berdiri kan di depan untuk public speaking kan, kita takut because kita takut kena judge and all of that. But if we do our homework, if we prepare ourselves, we have our 3 points, we have a narrative, if we have our gestures properly, if we practice our eye contact, and most importantly, people can listen to our hearts based from what we have to say, then you have all the essence of being a public speaker.
Right.
Which I, in a masterclass, will rungkaikan lah satu-satu
For sure.
semua. But if we want that short 5-second, 5-minute masterclass in public speaking, if I'm able to just teach one thing, is the visualization.
Visualization.
Because as I said, orang takut bah mau public speaking. Dia orang tidak mau cakap apa-apa. That's why kita banyak keyboard warrior di sana.
Yes.
You know, but if we are going to speak to a crowd, we would rather type or we would rather die. But if any people out there, and if you have to face being a public speaker, and all I can say is you have to visualize that the moment you step on stage or you go to the lectern, hold the microphone, and you have to just berhenti sekejap and realize that no, people want to listen to you because you are there, you're the chosen one. What do you want to do in that 15 seconds or that 15 minutes? So it's your stage, make it happen.
Okay. Saya mau hadam dulu. So people are there to listen to you, not to judge. Okay.
Yes. You have to believe that. Yeah. Of course, people are going to judge you. You know.
I mean, in some sense, yes, of course.
Yeah.
But they are, in certain situations, you are there to give ideas.
Yes.
You know? Yeah, that people don't know yet.
Yes.
So untuk situasi seperti you are introvert. I consider myself introvert. So sebenarnya.
Oh, good.
No,
that's
actually,
why we're friends.
Exactly. And even the best speaker from TEDx, the most viewed TEDx video is Simon Sinek. He is an introvert, but he delivers his speech so well. He can macam mana bagi to express his ideas so well in his speech. But he is an introvert. For you yourself, based on your experience as an introvert, apa advice do you want to give for people who are macam similar situation and they are about to give a presentation or something?
So one of the greatest, not weakness, but one of the greatest powers that introverts have is our ability to do things. And before even we speak on stage, one of the things that we always do as introverts is to do our homework.
Sure.
Because introverts never want to make a fool of ourselves. Yes, we know the task at hand. We have to talk. We have to, we just have to summon our courage and just say we can do it. We can make it happen. And we would pour our energy with the homework, the behind the scenes duties that we do, so that we're able to perform on stage. That's why Simon Sinek's very good. For that 15 minutes that he has on stage, he probably would practice it many times. He would have researched about it many hours on the topic that he had to research, and probably had to choose and think what ways to make it inspiring so that people are able to remember. Introverts will never want to waste time. Introverts will never want to buat kerja alang-alang. We would always want to make things better and want to have that excellence in anything and everything that we do, and we will always spend that alone time crafting our work. So I would say to introverts out there, hey, you're a winner. Go ahead and make things happen. Do your homework. Do the things that is required for you to summon courage and to be respected and credible on that stage. And do that visualization exercise that I shared with you. And yang paling penting sekali ialah kita kena ubah kita punya mindset. Orang akan dengar kita bukan untuk kasih judge kita, tapi sebenarnya memang orang mau dengar kita apa yang kau mau cakap ni. So be blessed that you're given an opportunity to talk. Be blessed that you are given a microphone to amplify your voice. And in that opportunity that you have, what are you going to do? Kau mau cakap buruk kah? Kau mau just main lempar kicap saja kah? Or do you have something inspiring to say that people will remember you and you'll be able to do better things? And most importantly, the audience are able to do better things.
Yes.
Ramai orang fikir public speaking ni main cakap saja kan. I said this before. Tapi yang paling penting sekali kalau kita ada peluang dalam public speaking untuk kita bagi inspirasi kepada orang, kongsi pendapat, kongsi ilmu dan segala-galanya, mesti ada data, mesti ada backup, mesti ada facts. You know, kalau kita main lempar saja cakap-cakap macam begitu, it just becomes ball kosong. You know, and it's a wasted opportunity. You know, to be able to talk, to be able to present ideas, and then you have to have some sort of mental preparation. Yeah. Unlike today saya betul-betul tiada mental preparation. I'm here to have fun, basically. I just want to have fun and just share what's in my mind. And I think whatever experience that I had this many years, I think it's good enough to share here.
I totally agree. Yes.
Which I'm still disappointed you have to wait 2 years, a year for me to come here. But it's okay. I'm just happy that I'm able to see you. I'm able to sit on this chair, which I am able to watch the many clips and enjoy the many stories of trials and triumphs of the various people who have sat on this chair. And I think it's very important that you continue this, Stef, because this day and age, we love listening to stories.
Yes.
We're always looking out for stories to inspire us. And one of the things that people love listening to podcasts is because we're always in constant search for inspiration, for stories that will be able to that will be able to propel us forward a little bit so that we can navigate this thing called life a little bit better. That there is another person who is experiencing that same thing with us. So please continue this, Stef. It's very, very important work. It's a service.
It's a service
to the community, to uncover the stories, to unlock certain skills, and you'll never know that listeners out there will be able to be inspired to be a better person, be a better whoever, and you'll never know that those actions can create a better Sabah, a better Malaysia.
Sure. I think we can talk the whole day, but
oh gosh.
I really hope we can have another session after this. But talking about listeners, right? Saya ada share kita punya session that we're gonna have a session together. My sister did give you a question.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what's her name?
Beth.
Yeah. Thank you very much for your question. Walaupun belum kena tanya, I'm on the edge of my seat already.
Right. Questions like this. Pernahkah Ben kena insult secara bersemuka atau di media sosial yang struck Ben secara personal? How did you deal with that for the sake of your mental and physical strength?
Wow. Mau kata insult to like directly to my face, maybe not. But you can kind of read in between the lines sometimes when people make comments, when people, say things to you, that sort of thing. Or maybe word got back to you because ada orang membawang ka apa-apa. Will that affect me? I think I have achieved a certain level in my life that I realize that we cannot please everyone, I will only focus my energy on the people who believe in me. For those who, tidak suka saya punya kerja who doesn't appreciate what I do, ka, that sort of thing. I mean, people have their own thoughts on things. People have their own preference, maybe because of the way I say things or the way I express my feelings or express my ideas might not meet the standards or the, whatever of the person. And it's not my duty to please them. Yang paling penting ialah whatever kerja yang saya buat ni berguna untuk masyarakat. If not, kenapa saya selalu kena jemput untuk MC acara-acara yang penting di negeri Sabah? Kenapa saya dijadikan macam orang kata, oh Ben, a trusted MC. That means so much to me when people say, oh si Ben kah yang MC? Saya lega. Saya punya kerja complete sudah macam begitu. Because I am allowing that person to concentrate on other important things. I don't need to be babysitted, macam begitu. So to allow that freedom for someone to concentrate on other things so that we can make the event better, ka? We can make this whatever better, ka? That sort of thing. That's even a privilege for me to have. So to me, orang menghina ka, insult ka, memang akan ada. I don't expect people to like me. But do I make it something that I think about? No, because I have a lot of other things to worry about. I have to sharpen my saw. I have to polish my craft all the time because there are a lot of people out there who trust in the work that I do. And my responsibility is to ensure that I'm able to deliver again and again so that we can have more jobs. We're able to be of service for a bigger crowd, for bigger events, for bigger audience, that sort of thing. So at the end of the day I'm only concentrated on making sure that I deliver to these individuals rather than focusing on my energy and thinking what people are saying behind my back. Sudah-sudahlah itu,
right?
So I don't care. It bothered me, of course, before. Ben is this, Ben is that, la 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 la. Tidak payahlah saya cakap. But to me, it's like after a while, it's like, why? People don't. I don't. Yeah. Why are we wasting our energy on things that we cannot control? And we should be focusing our energy on the things that we can.
Sure.
And in my particular case, like I said, the things that we can control are continue to craft the best work that I can, continue to create my best self so that I can be of better service to people, to continuously make it happen. There we go.
Thanks.
I hope that answered
I think
Beth's
that
question.
that does answer. And from your answer juga, I reflected upon si Telmo punya pet podcast. Telmo, the football player.
Yes.
Yeah, just recently. He talk about similar things. You just focus on things that you can control. Things you cannot control, you have to just put it away.
Yes.
Yeah.
We spend too much energy on things that we cannot.
Unfortunately, ramai orang begitu sekarang. Yeah. And that's a waste of time.
It is a waste of energy, a waste of our resources, that sort of thing. So why can't we just do a little switch? And that is to focus on the things that we can. And percayalah, your life will be better, your surroundings will be better, the way you think will be better. And that can assist you further to make things happen, for sure.
What are your personal say about Daphne King in terms of her talent in public speaking? I asked this because I saw your collaboration with her.
Oh, wow. I love Daphne. I really, really do. As a person, as a friend, as a mother, as a Sabahan who is truly making things happen, I look up to her. I really, really do. Yes, she has her colorful stories and personal stuff, but at the end of the day, we have to look at her contributions to society. She really, really is an icon out there. And I, as a person in the industry, as an MC, I look up to her. I was like, wow, what is it like to always MC an event with a prime minister or a dignitary or whoever yang besar-besar di luar sana? Because as an MC, right, when you have that certain realization that you're already up there, you have no choice but to exude excellence, which is something that I always want to give in anything that I do. service to the country, service to the state in whatever capacity, that you always have to exude excellence. She exudes excellence, and that's something that we need to always have, not just as MCs, but as a Sabahan as well. Yeah, she's a great content creator. I love her work on TV. She's a great host. So that's how I think of Daphne Aiking, and we need to see more of her. And hopefully she will have more opportunities to do work here in Sabah.
Right.
So and that's something that I always ask, kenapa ba kau selalu jarang datang pergi Sabah ni, that sort of thing. But again, she's a mother, her kids are in school, that sort of thing. And I love her raw stories. And I've interviewed her several times when I was a radio announcer as well. And there were many, many stories that we shared. And I think the most controversial is about her wearing the tudung. Ada sekejap dia pakai tudung, sekejap dia tidak pakai tudung, and all of that stuff. And obviously, it created a lot of polemic and also a little bit of controversial discussions behind the scenes. Is she bothered by it? That's an example that we should learn. No, she's not bothered by it. You know, janganlah ba kita terlalu sibuk pasal orang lain punya kemahuan ke apa-apa. Dan kadang-kadang kan kalau kita mau mencemooh ataupun kita mau membawang ke apa-apa, mesti ada konteks. Kenapa dia begitu? Kenapa dia apa? You know, there's so many little episodes that we are noticing right now on social media or wherever, that sometimes people kan kalau bergaduh kan tiada asas dia pun.
Betul.
You know, tiada dia punya argumentation, tiada dia punya apa. And then sometimes the worst thing is they start attacking, they give personal attacks. And that's the lowest of lowest. Yang macam, apa punya gaduh ni?
Kan?
You know, sampai yang jenis personal ni, which means kau bodoh ba, kau tidak pandai gaduh.
Betul.
You know, so gaduh based on the facts. Jangan gaduh pasal personal.
Yes.
That means you have lost the battle already, that you want to pick on other things. It's terlalu budak-budak. It's too kindergartenish.
Yes.
And we need to have less of that. And but back to number one, your question about Beth asking like if we have insults on social media. I know people don't agree on certain things that I say, and does it bother me? No. And I'm sure it's the same with Daphne. I think dia sudah muak sudah dengan orang-orang yang tidak setuju dengan dia, and I'm sure she will agree that hey, it's best to just focus on things that you're able to change rather than things that you can't. You can't change a person's opinion. Untuk apa kau mau, even with all the persuasion techniques in the world pun, kau mau ubah dia punya fikiran pun, dia sudah set, sudah dia punya mindset, itulah itu dia punya jawapan. Tidak payah, waste of time. What is that one quote that I love by Imam Shafi'i? You can Google that. It talks about how to bercakap dengan orang-orang yang berilmu. You know, it's better for you to bergaduh dengan orang yang berilmu, berbahas dan berdebat dengan orang yang berilmu daripada orang yang tiada ilmu. Kerana orang yang tiada ilmu tu jahil. Jadi tiada guna untuk kita mau waste energy kita untuk bergaduh sama dia orang, kerana mereka tetap dengan dia orang punya pendirian. Bagus lagi kita berdebat dengan orang ada ilmu, at least konstruktif kan. You know, orang yang berilmu at least boleh terima pendapat, boleh dengar pendapat. You know, tidak mau terlampau tidak mau orang cakap macam orang yang tidak ilmu ni, dia orang tidak mau berganjak pun. Sayang betul. So yang macam begitulah.
Sayang masa, sayang tenaga, semua benda.
Yes.
Yeah, but I get that. I think you answered that perfectly. Thank you so much. So this is from Musz and Jack.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Yeah, because there are my previous. I guess apart from the football players, right?
Yeah. That's another interview. I'm looking forward to listen.
Yeah. So I think this one is from Musz. Kita selalu berjumpa dengan ramai orang. Have you ever felt like you aren't worthy to be there, but you still want to achieve something as a part of that group?
Oh, Musz, that's an excellent question. That's a very, very excellent question. Do I ever feel not worthy to be part of a crowd or a circle? Occasionally. Occasionally. In life, you will always need to experience that you are out of place. You know, sometimes you feel like macam, oi, sesuai kah saya berada di sini, you know? And I think it's always good to understand that you should never overstay your welcome. Begitu. Even when you know that you're not part of a circle, that you have to also realize that you need to know when to exit. You need to be away from that circle or that crowd or whatever. So yes, I do occasionally feel like that. But at the same time, we go back to the niat, we go back to the nawaitu, we go back to the invitation. Why are we here? Which is the first question that I ask the Mr. Keumatan participants in my talk, that at the end of the day, we have to ask why is our presence required here? Is it because of work, because kita mau popular, because kita mau itu, mau ini, and then does that align with our values, with our principles in life? So yes, to answer the question, I do feel sometimes I am out of place. If I am invited to Mr. Keumatan, I do feel out of place sometimes. But I go back to my niat. I go back to the invitation. And I'm always very grateful for the opportunity given to me by Mr. Casey, who has immense trust in me when I give these talks. Kadang-kadang saya pun tidak tahu apa yang saya melalut sebenarnya. But I always believe that Mr. Keumatan can always be a great platform to go further. Especially when we want to portray our culture. We want to create light about what's great about Sabah. And we need an ambassador. We need that ambassador to not just be good looking. We also need the ambassador to speak well, to express well, to have a personality that makes people say, oh, I want to learn more things from him or her, you know. But yeah, to answer the question, yes, I do feel out of place. But at the end of the day, kita pertimbang lah. Cek balik kita punya niat, cek balik kenapa kita ada sana, cek balik kita punya nawaitu, purpose, why, and then we go from there. And if we feel that we are not worthy anymore, or we are not worthy to be in a circle or situation, then we have to have that realization that we cannot overstay our welcome. So, do the needful.
Thanks. I learned from that as well. Second question is, so this is from Jack. Ramai jenis orang yang introvert and extrovert. Apa cara kau untuk berinteraksi dengan seorang introvert? Maybe start a conversation supaya diorang boleh terbuka untuk bercerita.
Oh, put myself with another introvert, I become an extrovert. Because I am the curious person.
Same.
You know, I want to know more about that person. I will tanya dia. I will be the Barbara Walters of interviewers. You should Google Barbara Walters because
Okay,
your interview. Yeah, I love Barbara Walters and I love the way she asks questions. And I aspire to be like her if I ever be a broadcaster. She will always have these like short questions, and I always like macam it becomes this machine gun. You tembak satu kali terus dia mati begitu bah, you know. And I love asking people questions. I think that's why I excel in broadcasting through my show. And I mean, I'm always a curious person. I always want to know why people do things, you know. Why do they become this or that, or work as this, or become that, or join this, or whatever lah, you know. And it's through those stories that I find inspiration. And I always wanted to learn new things about other people. Seriously, kasi memang begitu. And if I am in a room with another introvert, I will automatically become that extrovert. Because I think as a person yang overthinkan, and when you take a personality test, I'm a green, which means we care about other people.
Right.
You know. So, kita tahu sudah keadaan introvert tu. Macam dia mati sudah berada di sana kan, jadi kita mau kasih senang dia punya hidup. I'm a hotelier. I make people punya life easy and make them comfortable and make them feel like they're welcome. So I will always be that person. Wah, how are you? You know, tanyalah, make small talk. And then sometimes saya pun tidak seberapa suka small talk, tapi kita paksa saja diri kita just so that people are comfortable.
Yes.
That sort of thing. So, but yeah, to answer Jack punya question, if I am in the same room with an introvert, I think I will always be the first one.
Okay.
And that's one of the things that I taught Mr. Keumatan previously, was that if we want to become a leader, we always have to act first.
Sure.
You know? So that's one of the things that I would do, is to always be the first to check up to someone.
And there's another question.
Go.
Similar. Untuk case extrovert pula, kadang-kadang kita pernah bercerita dengan orang macam ni, you know, extrovert. They tidak berhenti bercakap. Dan kalau kita mau keluar daripada itu conversation, apa cara kita untuk exit without being rude?
Oh, a magic word. Please excuse me. And then you go off. See, in life kan, and this is something that I teach in my etiquette class. I love teaching etiquette to people because kalau kita jaga adab, santun kita, you'll never know because of kita menjaga peradaban kita, ada beberapa peluang yang terbuka. And one of the many things that I teach in my etiquette class are the magic words in life. Please, which we always must say. Thank you, which we must always say after receiving something. We must always say sorry or apologize if we do something wrong. We talk about accountability and transparency, and if we want to lower our egos, we must always do our best to try to, macam orang cakap, kasi turun lah ba ego kita. You know, kalau kita buat salah lah ba. Tidak payah lagi mau gaduh-gaduh ke apa-apa. Just say sorry for the sake of having better communications and better collaborations. And excuse me. These 4 words, kalau kita guna sebanyak mana yang boleh dalam kehidupan kita kan, wow. And I think kan, in life, people get too demanding. It's the same way as we go to restaurants. Kopi O 1? Coke 1? We look at the person, kita tidak acknowledge dia sebagai human pun. We look at waiters like they're robots. We look at hoteliers like, you know, they're ready for work. Memang pun tugas kita ready for work. But sometimes we always forget that these people who are of service are also human beings too. But I won't forgive lah to those who yang are rude to customers, that sort of thing. You shouldn't be in hospitality at all. But there are a majority of us who are there to be of service to people. And we value when someone on the other side would say, please, thank you, excuse me, sorry, you know. And there's nothing wrong pun, tidak rugi kalau kita, can I please have a glass of water, please, you know. Can I have a cup of coffee, please, you know. Sejuk ba dengar bila kita ada magic words, you know. But to answer Jack punya question, if we're having a conversation with an extrovert and we want to exit the conversation, and I think the most kindest thing to say is, excuse me. And then you sebutlah you punya apa? You punya reason. It can be a little white lie if you want. Oh, I'm so sorry. Please excuse me. I got to go to the bathroom. And then terus kau dah, finally, you know. Conversations kan, we cannot make conversations like it's terpaksa, you know. You know. And sometimes extroverts need to read the room as well.
I agree.
You know, and that's a responsibility on an extrovert. You know, it's not just syok sendiri kita cakap saja kan, but at the end of the day we have to see the audience. Dia menguap kah, dia mengantuk kah, apa orang cakap macam menyampah kah. So we have to know how to read the room. It's not just just talking the ear out of the person, but also assessing the room, assessing the person who is receiving our messages. And sometimes we have to have that kesedaran juga. Kita kena sedar sama diri kita yang, ini orang mau dengar kah apa yang saya cakap ni? That's why a lot of introverts, they don't like small talk. You know, they feel like it's so much energy to do small talks, and it's fine. It can be a weakness, and sometimes we just have to learn the art of conversation. So, but yeah, that will be another story for another day. But at the end of the day, to answer Jack for your question, I think it's very, very important to use magic phrases. Yeah, magic phrases like, thank you so much for sharing your story. I am so sorry, I got to go. I will see you another time. Thank you again. Macam begitu ba? You know, so there are many ways to exit, close, start a conversation. So you just have to be artful with it, tactful with it. And it comes with a lot of training, polishing, which any of the viewers can join my masterclass in the future.
Can you share your future class?
So I am having a masterclass in Emceeing. So there's this thing called lectern leadership. It's something that I sendiri wujudkan. You Google lectern leadership, there's no program called lectern leadership. But I always believe that public speakers, when they go to the lectern or a rostrum or a podium, that there is a form of leadership that they have to exude. And I am doing an MC with Excellence Lectern Leadership Masterclass on the 31st of October. Itu niat saya. I am talking to an event organizer to make it HRD Corp claimable, so that if they are employers who want to send their employees to the class, that they can use the HRD Corp levy and claim it, and to make it more accessible to the working individuals
awesome.
out there. So yeah, so look out for my social media. I don't have much details yet because I'm still trying to put it together. So it's going to be a one whole day. The target is to do it on the 31st of October 2024. It's a public holiday. It's a Deepavali day, and we are going to have maybe like 20-25 people only talking about excellence in emceeing and how to be a better MC technically and exuding excellence in it as well. So that's my future class that I'm going to do.
So 31st October.
Yes.
And people can follow about this, any news about this on your social media?
On my social media, just look for my Instagram, ben.uzair. I usually post all my whatever lah, kehidupan saya ke apa. I love sharing whatever.
Sure.
Because a lot of my followers, kalau saya diam-diam tu, diorang pandai message saya tu, Ben, what are you doing today? I need your content. I need to know what you're doing, what you're eating, what you're doing this, what you're doing that. And I'm like, ada juga orang yang begini kan. So okay lah, whatever that I do on social media, it's not to shock sendiri, but to appease my followers who have been very, very supportive of the many work that I've been doing these past few years.
Again, it's a pleasure having you here. Master quite some semangat ataupun persediaan untuk to bring you here, and you said yes, and I'm very thankful for that.
Thank you for inviting. Most importantly, I don't know how many sleepless nights that you had to go through, but it's a pleasure. I like I said before the show, it's always me asking the questions. It's always me doing the homework to find out much more about the other person so that we can have a robust conversation, to have the platform for the other person in this chair to just share their ideas, to share their trials, their triumphs. At the end of the day, yang paling penting ialah daripada cerita yang kita kongsikan ni, perkataan-perkataan yang kita kongsikan ni, kita punya audience dapat belajar sesuatu yang baru.
For sure.
Yeah, so I hope that my sharing today is of benefit, of use for your listeners, and we'll see you again in the future.
For sure. Nanti kalau ada second episode, if we need to, and then I'll just invite you.
Please, anytime.
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 Okay, awesome. Now it's your turn untuk tanya a question for the next guest.
Oh gosh. See, I did 7 years of asking questions. Now I'm finding it lost to ask a question to a stranger who's going to be sitting on this chair. I wanted to just repeat the question that I asked Mr. Kamatan at the end of my session, and that is simple. What can you do for Sabah, right?
Okay.
Yeah. I guess I'll just take it a notch above. What can you do to contribute to make Sabah better?
There we go.
Saya kesian lah siapa yang kena jawab. Makes it even interesting, and a motivation for me to see who is the next person to be asked this question. Hello, my name is Ben Uzair, and I truly appreciate the invitation to have this seat at Stef It Up. So, Stef, thank you very much for inviting. To our listeners out there, I think it's important that we have plenty of podcasts that we have here in Sabah, and we are very, very blessed that we have Stef highlighting the various trials and triumphs of various individuals whom I think are making it happen. The spirit of this podcast, of this show, is pretty much the same as my show, and that's what makes this show awesome, is to learn from the people that have the chance to sit right here, to be inspired by their stories, the things that they did well, the things that they did not do so well. And I hope that the people that will continuously come and go from this chair will be able to share more and more stories, and most importantly, to be able to contribute to our beautiful Sabah. So, Stef It Up.
Stef It Up Lounge, create, share, inspire.